Everyone, welcome back to another great episode of Raihana's Cuisines. Today we're making my tri-colored noodles, and I actually had them in our Minnesota community cookbook, and I had completely forgotten about it until I got reminded by one of my fans. She said she makes it almost twice a month and absolutely loves it. It's her to-go recipe. And I thought, you know what, I used to do this when my kids were really young and completely forgot about it. So today I thought I'm gonna go ahead and prepare this really quick, tasty, kid approved recipe. So as far as the ingredients, I've got very simple ingredients. I'm going to show you what we're going to start with. Olive oil here, and we're going to be using about a tablespoon of it to stir fry our meat, and then we're going to be using a tablespoon of it to stir fry our veggies. In my little Ziploc bag here, which I already mentioned it to you, I usually make my meat and freeze it or marinate it right away. And what I did with this meat was I had a huge chunk of meat which I separated and did different things with. So this here I cut it in long thin strips, and I marinated it in about a tablespoon of ginger and garlic, 2 tablespoons of soy sauce, 2 tablespoons of rice vinegar, salt and pepper, and it's just been marinating overnight, and it's ready to go. And this is, I believe it's about 2 pounds of meat, and you can use any type of beef that you like, but I use very importantly nothing that has fat in it. Now so the meat, basically you can, if you don't want too much of it in this dish, you can just scale down on the meat. So once we get our meat stir fried, this is what we're going to be using to stir fry our vegetables. I'm going to be using a teaspoon of ginger and garlic, a good tablespoon of mustard seeds. I have 3 carrots that I have cut up in thin strips. I have half a yellow bell pepper, half a red bell pepper. I have about 5 stalks of celery that I have cut up thinly and long thin strips. I have 1 large onion that I have also cut in very thin slices, and then I have some spring onions that I have taken the white part of it and sliced that. It gets a lot of flavor from there. We're going to be using a little bit, about 2 more tablespoons of olive oil, or sorry, of soy sauce when we season our vegetables. And then I have here an 8-ounce box of Rotini noodles. Now these noodles are not colored artificially. They're the spinach is used for the green, and then the tomatoes are used for the red. So I picked those up, and they're readily available at Aldi's if you're shopping there. We're going to be doing half a lime. We're going to splash that on top of our finished product, and then we're just going to be doing some chopped spring onions to garnish our dish. So let's get started. So once the pot gets really nice and hot, I'm going to add the 1 tablespoon of oil in there, and then we're going to go ahead and add our meat in there. So I've increased my temperature, and what I want to do is I want to stir fry this meat just so that it gets a really nice brown coating on both sides. Once it does that, I'm going to reduce the temperature, cover it for about 5-10 minutes, and let it completely get fork tender. Then we're going to go ahead and do our vegetables, and once our vegetables are cooked, we're going to add the cooked meat in there, and then our dish is going to be ready. Now at this point, if you wanted to, you can also add some black pepper, and I feel like I'm missing something, so I'm going to go ahead and add that black pepper in there. So you can see that all the gravy from the meat has dried up, which is perfect. It took about 7 minutes. Now I'm going to turn it on low, and I'm going to cover it, and then we're going to stir fry our vegetables. And I already tried it, and it's pretty good. It's fork tender, and so let's get going. I'm going to put another skillet on here, and we're going to do our stir fry. So my pan is getting nice and hot. I'm going to add the 1 tablespoon of olive oil. We don't need much, and we're going to go ahead wait until it just warms up a little bit before we add the mustard seeds in there. As soon as the mustard seeds will start crackling, we'll add the ginger and garlic in there, so it gets, the flavors get infused really well, and then we'll add all the vegetables. So it looks like oil is really nice and hot. We'll add our mustard seeds and wait for them to crackle. So the mustard seeds are popping away. We'll add our ginger and garlic, get that going, and the flavors are going to start infusing really well. Started adding all my vegetables in there. Started with the onions, the carrots, now the bell peppers and the spring onions. We're gonna let this go just for a little bit. I don't want to cook this up very much. I just want to stir fry it. They have to be really nice and crispy. We'll go ahead and add our steak pieces in there. Our steak in here, it's coming up really nicely. Lastly, we'll go ahead and add our pasta in there. Give that a really nice stir. We're going to go ahead and add our soy sauce in here. Give that a really good mix. Now you want to do a taste test at this point and make sure that there's enough seasoning, the salt and everything is good. And we are done. Look at how beautiful this pasta looks. Okay, so now I'm just going to go ahead and add it to my serving bowl. So I've decided to leave it in the pan, but the finished product, I'll show you the picture of that in the end of the video, just because I'm going to wait for my husband to come home before we eat. But I am going to go ahead and splash it with a little bit of lime juice just to give it that extra tangy flavor and freshness, and then top it off with some spring onions. And I'm just going to do a taste test right from here. Now I really want to get in and try the beef because I want to make sure that that has cooked really well. I'm trying to find a small piece here. So I got the beef, and then I'm going to do a couple of the pastas. And we haven't really added any seasoning in the sense that we've really not added like a bunch of masalas and all that kind of stuff in there. It's just simple flavors, and sometimes those simple flavors taste amazing. The meat, just because we marinated it the night before, it's really nice and tender. And I'm going to leave this in the pan for about half an hour. This is what's going to do is the noodles are going to soak up all that flavor that was in the meat. So super tasty. Give this a try. It's a quick video, quick recipe. You can even do your meat ahead of time and boil your pasta ahead of time, and then you have, you know, just to put together. So thank you so much for joining me on this episode of Raihana's Cuisines. Hope you can join me here next time with another great video. See you then, friends.